Are you looking for a fun, fast quilt with a lot of impact? Today we are using 2 jelly rolls to make 4 big blocks that turn into this spectacular quilt. And it's quick to make with 0 wastage. And it's so fun, you're going to want to make more than one. And of course, there's a free pattern download at the end. Hard to believe that this came from one of my biggest mistakes ever. So stick with me and I'll show you how to do it. Hi there, I'm Karen Brown of Just Get It Done Quilts. I give you tips, tricks, and strategies to help you make the quilt that you want to make. And if you like what you see, please click that subscribe button. Several years ago, while I was making my Stashbuster 8, I cut 2 jelly rolls all wrong. Crazy, since I designed the pattern, but it was 80 strips cut all the wrong size. But I didn't want them to go to waste, so I designed another quilt to use them all up, and I call it my lemonade quilt. And every week I still get at least one request for the directions, so this week I started from scratch to make my lemonade quilt 2.0. The quilt finishes at 80 by 84 inches, which is a great wedding gift or off to college size, as it fits both queen and double-side beds. But in the pattern, I have directions for 3 other sizes. So for this quilt, you're going to need 2 jelly rolls or 80 2.5 inch width of fabric strips. Jelly rolls are so convenient since they are usually made from coordinating fabrics and the strips are pre-cut. There are often a couple of duplications, but that's fine. We can work with pairs. And in this quilt, we're going to let value do all the hard work. So we are taking 1 jelly roll at a time and sorting them into 2 groups of 20 strips, going from lightest to darkest, separating any pairs so that 1 is in each group. For most of us, sorting the lights from the darks is pretty obvious. But the mid-range and the multicolored prints can be tricky. So open up your phone and take a black and white photo and see how you did. Make any necessary adjustments until you're happy. And once you have the order the way you like it, take that second jelly roll and do exactly the same sort. So now you'll have 2 20-strip sets, and we're going to call them A and B. And just a note here, I don't buy jelly rolls very often because they're an expensive way to buy fabric, but they are just so darn attractive that often a couple end up in my stash. If time is not an issue, but dollars are, just cut 80 2.5 inch strips of 20 or more different fabrics from your yardage. You can also use leftover binding strips or make your own strips by piecing scraps together. It can all work. Now before we start cutting, just one more note about jelly roll strips. We need our strips to be just over 43 inches after you take the selvages off. And these bluish Zen Chic ones from Moda just fit. However, I know from the video comments that many of you have shorter strips than that. So in the pattern, there are directions to use those shorter strips down to 39 inches. So first, we're putting set B aside and just working with set A. Number your stacks from 1 to 20, starting with the lightest strips. You can use number pins, stickers, number tags, but today I'm using Post-it notes and clips. Take number 1 and take number 20 and stack the 4 strips. Trim off the selvages, then cut at 2.5 inches and then cut the remainder at 40.5 inches. Put tag number 1 on the smaller pieces and tag number 20 on the larger pieces. Next we take number 2 and number 19 and stack the 4 strips. Trim off the selvages. Then cut at 4.5 inches, and then cut the remainder at 38.5. Put tag number 2 on the smaller pieces and tag number 19 on the larger ones. And next we will take set number 3 and set number 18 and stack the 4 strips. Trim off the selvages, then cut at 6.5 inches, and then cut the remainder at 36.5 inches. Put tag number 3 on the smaller pieces and put tag number 18 on the larger pieces. And we will continue this series with the remainder strips. Step number 4 and 17 are cut at 8.5 inches and 34.5 inches. Number 5 and number 16 are cut at 10.5 inches and 32.5 inches, and so on. Don't worry about writing this down. All the cutting directions will be in a table in the pattern. And when you're done, you'll have 20 stacks of 4 pieces that look like this. Now before we start to sew, be sure to clean your machine. Change your needle, add a touch of oil, and load a full bobbin. With our prep done and all our set A stacks of fabric nearby, we are going to make 2 blocks exactly the same. So take your stack number 1. You should have 2 dark pieces and 2 light pieces.
Lay out with the light piece on the left and the dark piece on the right.
Sew 1 dark piece to the light piece. Press to the light side. Then take stack number 2. Take the 2 darks and sew to the top of the block. Press outwards toward the bigger piece. Then sew the lighter pieces to the left of the block. Again, press outward to the larger piece. Take stack number 3 and sew the 2 black pieces to the top of the block. Press outward, then sew the lighter fabrics to the left side of the block and press outward. And you can see that we are just making a really big L block. Some people call this a half log cabin. This is a nice, straightforward block. And you can get into a really nice rhythm because you're just repeating the same steps over and over again by adding strips to the top and the side and pressing outward. However, when you reach stack number 11, which is the midpoint, you switch to adding the lighter pieces to the top and the darker pieces to the side. And here are some tips to help keep your blocks nice and square. Use a leader. Some people call it a header. Occasionally I've heard it called a pig. It's just a piece of fabric to take those initial stitches with, tether your threads and avoid nests and sucking in your fabric. It also helps with your alignment. Make a ledge. Straight seams are important for this block, so place a ledge of painter's tape, 4 to 5 layers thick, and align it with the 1/4 inch mark on your sewing machine. This will give you something to butt your fabric to while you sew to keep it straight from the beginning stitches until the last stitches. But first you need to sew and test a practice piece to check that your 1/4 inch is accurate. It usually takes me from 2 to 3 tries to get it right, but this time I was lucky and got it right on the first try. And if you want to know more tips on how to sew an accurate 1/4 inch seam or how to sew straight, check out these 2 videos here. If you find after you sew and press that your pieces are curving, you might be leaving fabric in your seams. Be sure to use a good ironing technique. Finger press every time. You can use a roller or an iron to press, but first set the seam, then roll over all that fabric with your fingers so that your seams lie flat from beginning to end. Square your block after each stack. The trick though is not to square to the sides of the block, but square to the first block every time. We do that by aligning this seam to a line on your cutting mat. Then do this one. Then we check the edges. If we have too much, we trim. If we are short, then we align the edge of the next fabric where it should be and pin. And sometimes it's not our fault. Jelly rolls are not perfectly straight, or our presser foot can push the fabric out of alignment. By squaring up this way, we make the adjustment before the problem compounds in the following rows. Start your seams at the inside corner, both on the top seam and the side seam. Jelly roll strips are cut from selvage to selvage, which means it's on the cross grain, and that means it has some stretch. So let's control that stretch by pushing it out towards the side. Don't race. If you can put a limit on how fast you can go, do it, because speed can be the enemy of accuracy. Be sure to feed both the beginning and the ends of the seams squarely through the feed dogs. And once you have this rhythm down, then you can adjust your speed accordingly. And lastly, use a quilting glove to help control the weight. These blocks get big and then really big. And to keep everything in line throughout the whole seam length, we need to control the bulk. Fabric is slippery and we end up clenching and bracing with our shoulders and neck. Using a glove with tacky fingers on your left hand makes it so much easier. You can also use these work gloves from the dollar store. Eventually, the block is going to become wider than your cutting mat. But if your blocks were made well in the earlier rows, you can probably manage the remaining rows without too much worry. And in the end, you will have two identical blocks which measure 42 by 40. Next, we will repeat the whole process with block set B. The strips sets still will go from lightest to darkest, and we cut them the same way we did with set A, ending up with 20 stacks of 2 dark fabrics and 2 light ones. However, when we sew the stacks together, there are 2 big differences. The first one is in how we add the strips. This time, the dark fabric starts on the left side of the block and the light is on the right. Then as we add the stacks, the darks are added to the top and the lights are added to the right side. The second difference is, on these 2 blocks, we press the seams inward on both seam side and the top seam. And sometimes this is a little bit more difficult than that sounds. So I often use friction to help me. First, I set the seam with heat. Then I flip the fabric over and drag the block towards me, which helps keep that seam tucked under. Then I finger press along its length, then use a hot, dry iron. Remember, press, don't swish. If you have not seen my video on a really good ironing technique, check it out here. And when you finish the final seam, you will have 2 big blocks that are a mirror image of the first 2 you made. If you need to do any squaring up to the outside edges of the block, now is the time to do it. And if you have a smaller mat or you're working in a smaller space, it can be tricky to square up a block this size. So fold your block on a seam and align it with a horizontal line on your mat. You might need to make a second fold as well. Just be sure to make the fold on the seam and align it with a horizontal line. Then trim. We're going to take 1 block from set A and 1 block from set B. Place right sides together along the edges, and this will have the lighter, longer strips on the left and the darker, smaller strips on your right. And these seams should all nest nicely together. I am using pins to secure them because this block is so big and heavy, and this will help keep them straight. Once sewn, press the seams on both blocks to the same size. Repeat this step with the remaining 2 blocks. The last step for the top is to take these 2 blocks with the right sides together and the smaller blocks in the center and first nest them here on that middle seam. Then pin from the center to the left, then pin from the center to the right, and then sew this final seam. It's a long one, it's a heavy one, so take your time and just feed the fabric in slowly, adjusting when you need to. Now it's your choice how you want to press this seam. You can press the whole seam to one side, or you can do like I've done and spin that center seam. And you're done with the quilt top. So this was an interesting project. Comparing it to the first lemonade quilt, I prefer the color wash in this one much more. My son said it had a TIE fighter in the center, but to avoid any copyright issues, I'm calling it Lemonade version 2.0. I really enjoyed making this quilt. Since I didn't have to worry about the layout, I found I could just enjoy the process a bit more and concentrate on practicing my skills. And it's true, a mistake is only a mistake if you don't learn from it. If you'd like to download your own copy of this pattern, please head over to my website, justgetitdonequilts.com, and you can find it under Stashbusters. Or I will put a link down in the video notes below. I have 2 playlists you should check out. Tips and tricks with lots of helpful info on how to improve your skills, and my Stashbuster playlist. There are 15 of them now, and they all have free downloads. Take care, and I'll see you next time.